Morning, everybody. Our retreat normally starts with Metta recital. You can see some of you may have this book, others this one. This one, page 37.
47.
Yeah?
47.
47? Then this one is
49.
63.
49.
49? Yeah, 37 and 49. This one 49, other one 37.
47.
47. Okay. We recite only part of it at our lunchtime. But since we have the entire discourse here, we recite the whole discourse. Okay, let us begin. One skilled in good, wishing to attain that state of peace, should act thus. One should be able, straight, upright, obedient, gentle, and humble. And one should be content, easy to support, with few duties, living lightly, controlled in senses, discreet, not impudent, unattached to families. One should not do any slight wrong, which the wise might censure. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds. Whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long, medium, short, subtle or visible or invisible, living here or born or coming to birth. May all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere, neither from anger nor ill will should anyone wish harm to another. As a mother wishes her own life to protect her only child, even so towards all living beings, one should cultivate the bounds. One should cultivate the heart and bodies, above, below, and unobstructed, without greater confinement, whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down, one should develop this mindfulness. This is called enlightenment here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desires and sensual pleasures. One comes narrating the birth. Okay, we turn on off the light. With this metta thought in mind, let us begin our mindfulness meditation. Metta practice is also a part of mindfulness meditation. And when we recited metta recital, we already mentioned that whether we are standing, sitting, lying down, or wherever, we should develop this mindfulness. That means we have to be mindful of metta and remember we practice mindful metta because there are beings with a lot of suffering, including ourselves. Therefore, we need metta practice. Keeping this in mind as a background, let us try to focus our mind on our breathing. The breath is such a pure, clean, universal object which all living beings share equally. And we try to focus our mind on this. As we focus the mind on the breath, we notice inhaling as inhaling, exhaling as exhaling. We do this all the time. But in meditation, we deliberately pay attention to this ever going on breath. It doesn't cease until we pass away. We began our life with this and end it with this. Throughout our life, we breathe. And that is called body conditioner, kaya sankhara. Why it is called body conditioner? Because it conditions our body. How does it condition our body? Because it brings oxygen into our lungs to charge our depleted red blood cells depleted of oxygen. These red blood cells are charged with oxygen. They go to heart pumps and send this oxygen throughout our body, recharging every cell. That is happening all the time. Whether we are sitting, standing, walking, lying down, or when we are awake, or when we are sleeping. All the time this function is going on, reconditioning this body. And therefore it is called conditioner, sankhara. And we pay attention to this breath, keeping this in mind. And then gradually, gross breath becomes calm, relaxed and subtle breath. And then we notice sometimes breath is long, sometimes short. As we breathe, we notice long inhaling, as long inhaling, long exhaling, and long exhaling. Short inhaling as short inhaling, short exhaling as short exhaling. And then we notice the entire breath body, the beginning, middle and end. When we breathe in and out, we feel the touch of breath either on the tip of our nose, nostrils, or upper lips. This variation depends on the formation of our nose. So each and every one of us have to breathe in and out to find out where the breath touches. And that touch is the beginning of inhaling. Chest area is the middle. Lower abdomen is the end. When we exhale, lower abdomen is the beginning. Chest is the middle. Tip of the nose or nostrils or upper lips is the end. Notice in these three places, we breathe in and out. Then breath becomes even more subtle, more calm, more relaxed, because the mind has something to keep holding on to. That is the breath. If mind wanders here and there, don't struggle, don't blame yourself, don't think that you cannot meditate, but use the wandering mind as an object of your meditation. How can you do that? Wandering mind is very definite indication of impermanent nature. Mind is so fickle, it always goes from object to object. It doesn't stay in one place. That is the nature of impermanence. So you can see this mind is not permanent. In Vipassana meditation, noticing impermanence is absolutely necessary practice. And that we can see in the wandering mind. Then what happens? The mind doesn't go to the past or to the future. It stays in the present. Present is the breath again. It returns to the breath. Sometimes when everything is calm, relaxed, peaceful, body is calm, breath is calm, mind is calm, that moment you may feel sleepy. That also is very natural. You have to overcome this sleepiness. Although sleepiness is very sweet, welcoming, but you won't get up from that sleep with new insight. Therefore, deliberately we have to overcome sleepiness by visualizing very bright light. And then the opposite can happen. Again, restlessness and worry. Restlessness and worry can arise because of incomplete things in the past. You have done certain things not completed. Mind goes there. Or you may worry about something you have done wrong, or some kind of things that somebody has done to hurt you, or you may think of the future. All this can make your mind full of restlessness and remorse. Then again, we deliberately bring the mind to the present moment and make effort to keep the mind there in the present moment. And then greed can arise. Things that you have seen in the past, present objects, sound that you have heard, pleasant sound or unpleasant sound, smell, taste, touch, and thought can arise, and they can be pleasing, enticing, and desire arise. And desire also is a hindrance that always makes you unhappy. Desire can never make you happy. So again, thinking of the disadvantage or danger of desire, bring mind back to the present moment. Sometimes anger, resentment arises due to certain previous things, some unpleasant memories make you upset. Then again, bring your metta practice to let go, to overcome your resentment. And if you have any doubt with regard to the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and various other things, you have to overcome them in order to keep your mind focused on the present moment. In that case, think of the Buddha, have total confidence in the Buddha's enlightenment. Buddha is the one who introduced this from his own personal experience, and he can never go wrong. Millions of disciples of the Buddha followed this method and attained full liberation. So we can use this with full confidence to overcome our doubts. With these few hints as advice at the beginning of our meditation, keep this in mind and let us spend a few minutes meditating. And then I'll give a little Dhamma talk. After this meditation, I ring the bell and then start my talk. Nissarana apanyassa panyanattiyadayato yam nissarana panyaca Nibbana Santike. There is no concentration without wisdom, no wisdom without concentration. One who has both wisdom and concentration is close to peace and emancipation. Helpful friends, today I'm supposed to give a talk on sati. This retreat's theme of this retreat is 7 factors of enlightenment. Number 1 of them is mindfulness. In the first place, we must ask ourselves, as Buddha taught us, why we meditate, why we practice mindfulness. There are 5 purposes. Number 1 is for the purification of beings. That is a very important factor. Purification of beings means purification of our mind. Because we know when the mind is impure, with the impure state of mind, what we do, what we say, what we think can produce harmful, painful results that follow us like the cart that follows the hoofs of the ox that pulls the cart. When the mind is impure, with that impure state of mind, whatever we do or say or think will have painful results. If we do things with the pure state of mind, think and speak, the results follow us like our own shadow. This is what Buddha mentioned in the Dhammapada. First meaning of the first 2 stanzas. Therefore, we have to practice mindfulness or meditation in order to purify our mind. The second purpose is soka paridhavana samatikkamaya, to overcome sorrow and grief. In order to overcome sorrow and grief, we have to meditate. Friends, ask yourself, why you sorrow? Anytime, why you have sorrow? What is the cause of sorrow? Because of the greed, attachment, clinging, craving. Ya yang tanna pono bhavika nandi raga sahagata tatra vinangini. Buddha mentioned in the first discourse. Our sorrow arises from greed, which causes delight here, delight there, and attached to this, attached to that, and that causes sorrow, lamentation. To overcome pain and grief, dukkha domanassa, pain and grief, we meditate. Then we meditate Nyaya Sadhigamaya in order to put ourselves on the right path. We meditate. As long as we follow wrong path, we have painful results. We meditate to put ourselves on the right track. We have gone off the track, derailed, and therefore we have pain and suffering. Nibbanasa Satchikiriyaya. We practice meditation to realize Nibbana. All other benefits are peripheral. They are not important. And for these 5 purposes we meditate. Therefore, Buddha mentioned, when we practice mindfulness of breathing, we practice 4 foundations of mindfulness. We practice mindfulness of breathing. When we practice mindfulness of breathing, we practice mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of feelings, mindfulness of the mind, and mindfulness of mind objects. All these 4 foundations of mindfulness we practice when we practice one object, use one object, that is mindfulness of breathing. How does that happen? Mindfulness of the body, we begin with mindfulness of breathing. We mentioned 4 mindfulness of breathing is divided into 4 tetrads. We just mentioned at the beginning the first tetrad. When we practice the mindfulness of breathing, we practice 4 tetrads. When we practice them, we practice 7 factors of enlightenment 4 times. When we practice mindfulness of breathing, we practice 7 factors of enlightenment. When we practice mindfulness of feeling, we practice 7 factors of enlightenment. When we practice mindfulness of the mind, we practice 7 factors of enlightenment. When we practice mindfulness of the mind, Dhamma, mindfulness of Dhamma, we practice 7 factors of enlightenment. So 7 factors of enlightenment we can practice 4 times when we practice mindfulness of breathing. But if we learn how to practice mindfulness of the body and practice 7 factors of enlightenment, that is enough. Others are just polishing. Now, mindfulness of the body, we must understand that we practice them not as a pastime just for a sort of a way of passion to just to relax. Mindfulness practice is a very lofty practice. Mindfulness of the body itself, if we practice diligently, is enough to have all the factors of enlightenment. Let me begin with the beginning of mindfulness of the body. And we have to take it very hard, take into heart very seriously and put into practice. Reading, discussing, writing, listening to mindfulness practice is not enough. We have to put it into practice. Be mindful of the body and see mindfulness of the body exactly as it is. We always hear the phrase or sentence, Yatha Bhuta Jnana Darsana. That is, seeing things as they really are. Seeing things as they really are. What does it mean? Seeing things as they really are. We see things. How can we see things as they really are? Normally when we look at something, for instance, we see this building, we all see the building. But is it how we see it really is? We look at each other, look at our own body. Can we see this body as it really is? We see superficially our head hair, body hair, nail, teeth and skin. Those are things we see superficially. Is that all of us? No. There are much more things inside to see. But can we see them? Can any of us see inside? No. But seeing them inside as they are is called seeing things as they really are. Here things means, remember, Yatha Bhuta Jnana Darsana, seeing things as they really are. What are the things? Body, feeling, perception, thought and consciousness. What we call aggregates. Even then, even if we enumerate the five, put them in order like this, we don't see them as they are. So Buddha said, Kaya Kayanupassi Vedati, See the body as it is. See the body as body. As it is. This body is always changing. This body is always changing. Can we see that? When I look at you 10 years ago, you look little different from now. But I saw you yesterday and see today, I don't see very much difference in you. Similarly, when you saw me yesterday, when you came here and see me today, you don't see very much difference in me. But friends, you have changed, I have changed. From yesterday to today. You don't see that. We see this when we have to see this with wisdom. With wisdom. Wisdom comes from mindfulness. So see the body as it is with mindfulness or with wisdom. And the phrases are very rich phrases are used, words are used in Pali, which full of meanings. Buddha said, when you see the body as it is, with open eyes you cannot see the body as it is. You see only superficial appearance. You have to close your eyes and look at you introspectively. That means look at your mind. Look at the mind. With effort to penetrate into your own life, penetrate into your own mind. Overcoming attachment and rejection, clinging and rejection. Don't cling to the body or don't reject the body. See the body as it is. When we do this, we can see ourselves. Normally, when we look at ourselves, we look at ourselves with some emotions. Without any emotional attachment or rejection, impartially we must learn to look at ourselves impartially. That is not very easy to look at ourselves impartially. And Buddha repeatedly mentioned in this discourse, see the rising of body and falling of the body and rising and falling of the body. That is, Samudaya dhammanupassiva kāyasmi viharati. Vaya dhammanupassiva kāyasmi viharati. Samudaya vaya dhammanupassiva kāyasmi viharati. These three sentences Buddha repeated many times, 6 times in the mindfulness of the body, 6 times. When you breathe in and out, at the end of the section, Buddha said, Samudaya dhammanupassiva kāyasmi viharati, Vaya dhammanupassiva kāyasmi viharati, Samudaya vaya dhammanupassiva kāyasmi viharati. That means live, seeing, rising the body, seeing the falling the body, and seeing rising and falling the body. That means, with regard to the breath is, as I mentioned, the body, seeing it rising, seeing it falling, and seeing it rising and falling. When you listen to these 3 sentences, you may wonder, why did the Buddha say seeing rising and seeing falling, and then he said rising and falling? What does it mean? That is, this is the nature of sankhara. Sankhara means conditioner. Sankatam api sankaroti iti sankhara. That which is already conditionally coming into existence is reconditioning. What is conditionally, what is arisen due to causes and conditions, is reconditioned. It's called sankhara. Reconditioned. So, these conditions, preconditioning, has 3 characteristics. That is, rising, falling, and altering. Buddha call it Teenimani bhikkhave sankatasa sankatalakanani katamani teni uppado panyayati vayo panyayati chitasa anyatattam panyayati. That means rising is visible, falling is visible, and what we call the existence, it is altering is possible. Rising, altering, and ceasing. For instance, something rises like this, just imagine, like this, and it comes to the peak and goes like this. And then in the smaller circle coming to existence does not stop. That means each moment has 3 minor moments: rising moment, peak moment, and falling moment. These 3 moments, when we are mindful, we can see these 3 moments, 3 minor moments. Only then can we understand that we are unable to hold on to anything, because they are always in a state of flux. Things are always in a state of flux. changing, moving. In order to show this, Buddha said, seeing rising, seeing falling, and seeing rising and falling. The minor movement are rising, falling. And therefore in Vipassana or Sati, when we develop Sati, mindfulness, we have to be very clear and develop our awareness to see this more subtle changes taking place in us. And that is universal. And therefore Buddha said, iti ajjattam akaya kayana pasivirati, bahiddha vakaya kayana pasivirati, ajjatta bahiddha vakaya kayana pasivirati. Live seeing the body as it is internally, see the body as it is externally, see the body as it is internally and externally. That means one time we have to be mindful of our own changes. That is the easiest thing, closest to our heart, that we can see things, see changes taking place in us. And then, inferentially, we understand, yes, others also change exactly like this. Then, that is another confusing statement that people who are not mindful don't understand well. When you are mindful, you see your own internal changes and see the changes of others intellectually, or inferentially. Then see rising and see the body internally, see the body externally, then see the body internally, externally. Again, internally and externally. How can that happen? It is, you first know that you are changing, then you know that others are changing, then you know that while you are changing, they are changing. That while you are changing, they are changing. That is why it is said, see the body internally, see the body externally, and see the body internally and externally. While you are changing, they are changing. That means we don't take turns to change. That means let me finish changing myself and then you change. It doesn't happen like that. While I am changing, you are changing. While you are changing, I am changing. We all are changing. Everything in the universe is changing while I am changing. See the Buddha's wisdom. When we are mindful, we must understand this intricate, very subtle, deep, profound changes taking place everywhere, all the time, day or night, here or there. And therefore, we take one thing and see that thing very completely, perfectly, then we can see everything else exactly like that particular thing. And therefore, when we practice mindfulness, it is not something looking at certain outside external objects. It is a way of developing our awareness to see something beyond our superficiality. Beyond our superficiality. Going something very deep into the core heart of the matter. So, I wanted to clarify these few points because they are, we learn mindfulness, but we don't have to grope in the dark. We must go to the Buddha's own words and try to understand the meaning of Buddha's words in order to, because we never go wrong if we go to the Buddha's words. And understand the meaning of what the Buddha said. So for the practice of mindfulness, I recommend that we use either mindfulness of breathing, Anapanasati Sutta, or mindfulness, or four foundations of mindfulness discourse, or greater foundations, four foundations of mindfulness discourse, Maha Satipatthana Sutta, or use Kaya Gata Sati Sutta. Like this, we always must go to the Buddha's own words to get clearer, precise meaning of the word sati, mindfulness. When we take the mindfulness of the body, Buddha has given 6 steps or 6 groups, categories. First is mindfulness of the breathing. Second is mindfulness of the posture. Walking, sitting, standing, lying down are the main 4 postures. In each of them, we have to practice mindfulness. When you walk, Buddha said, while walking, one must know that one is walking. Is there anybody who does not, any living being that does not know that it walks when it walks? Even animal, when he walks, he knows that he walks. So what is the big deal? How can we become mindful of that? There are many things involved in walking. One is, definite thing is, every fraction of a second in our walking, we change. That we must understand. That means when we lift our foot, our feeling, perception, thought and consciousness, all other aggregates change. When we move, when we lift, our body changes, feeling changes, perception changes, and volition changes, and consciousness changes. How can that happen? We have to think to lift. Our thought changes. We feel the lifting of heel of our foot. We feel that. That changes. When we touch the floor, we have one feeling. When we lift the foot, we have another feeling. And that feeling also is not static. That feeling is, as we are lifting the foot, feeling also is changing. When you stop lifting, the movement stops, and that changes. When you move, and that movement is another change. When you stop, that movement stops, another change. When we bring it down, another change. When we touch, another change. Like that, our feeling changes, our perception changes, our thought changes, our consciousness changes when we move to walk. Friends, changes take place so quickly of all the five aggregates at any moment. For instance, when we snap our fingers like this, all the five aggregates change. How these two fingers are formed? When we snap, the feeling changes, feeling is there. We have consciousness, it changes. We perceive it, our perception changes. All the five aggregate changes like this. So when we move, these are the things we have to understand. Not the superficial awareness of movement. When we stand, all the five aggregates changes. And when we turn our head, all five aggregates changes. At the same time, that is one thing. Another is, while walking, we also have to understand, does greed arise in my mind while I am walking? Does hatred arises in my mind while I am walking? Or confusion arises in my mind while I am walking? These are things we have to focus our mind to understand, to develop our mindfulness. That is why when we walk mindfully, of course, unmindfully most of the time we walk unmindfully, we don't think of all these things. But when we are walking mindfully, we have to walk paying total undivided attention to our steps to understand all these things. Sitting, standing, walking. And then there are minor moments. Minor movement. Becoming aware of minor movement is called sampajanya, clear comprehension. Clear comprehension is much more sharper and deeper and profound than every tiny little movement we make, we can understand. The changes of them we can understand. Then, clear comprehension has also 4 steps. One is the purpose. We mentioned 5 purposes at the beginning. Second is ask the question. The second is suitability. Suitability is, does my practice match the goal? Can this practice reach the goal? It is not, the goal is not going from point A to point B. My goal is much higher than that. What is my goal? My goal is Nibbana Satyakiriyaya. My goal is realizing Nibbana. And every tiny little moment of mindfulness add up to attain Nibbana. That is why this is called Bojjhanga. Bojjhanga. Bodhi means enlightenment. Anga means limb or part. Every little part of our mindfulness adds up to the attainment of liberation, attainment of enlightenment. Therefore, Bojjhanga, the word literally means Bodhi Anga. Bodhi means enlightenment, Anga means limb. 7 of them are mentioned. So, when you walk, be mindful of every tiny changes, every tiny mental state that arises, every changes of our 5 aggregates. All this we do mindfully, and all this mindfulness, little mindfulness, go to the mindfulness basket. Suppose there are 7 baskets. This is one mindfulness basket. Then we have investigation basket. Then we have effort basket. Then we have joy basket. Then we have tranquility basket. Then concentration basket. And tranquility, like this, 7. So every time we practice that particular bodhi anga, it goes to that relevant basket. And then, that is, first is goal, second is the purpose, second is the suitability, third is the field. What is our field of clear understanding? Our field of clear understanding is 4 foundations of mindfulness. Sati Gochara. Sati Gochara. Gochara means go chara. Go means cow. Chara means grazing. Area where cow grazes is called go chara. Chara means movement, grazing. What is our grazing? Our field is our 4 foundations of mindfulness. That is the third clear comprehension. Fourth clear comprehension is non-delusion. We should not be confused with regard to our practice. Practice must be very clear in our mind. So, then the fourth factor of the 4 foundation mindfulness of the body, I mentioned mindfulness of breathing, mindfulness of postures, mindfulness of clear comprehension, and mindfulness of fourth factor is the parts of the body, 32 parts of the body. This body is divided into 4 elements. 20 of them earth element, 12 of them water elements, and there we have 32 parts. Now, meditating on these 32 parts also has to be done with very, very clear mindfulness and understanding. Otherwise, one can fall into one extreme or the other. One extreme or the other. One extreme is people can think the body, 32 parts of household, Patikula manasikara, unattractiveness of the body. Or sometimes it's called repulsiveness of the body. If we are not mindful, we can fall into very, very big danger. One is you become attached to the body. Other extreme is you begin to hate the body. There was, when the Sariputta had a student, he was full of lust. So when the Sariputta asked him to practice mindfulness of unattractiveness of the body, mindfulness of repulsiveness of the body, patikula manasikara. So this particular monk began to practice meditation on the 32 parts of the body, patikula manasikara. But instead of overcoming his lust increased. He came to Venerable Sariputta and said, Sir, Venerable, I cannot practice this because my lust increases. Sariputta said, No, this is a good meditation, go and do it. Buddha praised very highly of this meditation. Second time he went, second time also he had the same problem. Third time he said, third time he also had same problem. Then when the Sariputta thought, this is not going to work, let us go and see the Buddha. He took him to the Buddha. As soon as Buddha saw him, he knew that this monk has been a goldsmith. He loves gold color. So he gave him a lotus flower, fresh, water dripping, full of fragrance, and asked him to stick it in the ground near a pond, look at it, and meditate on it. He was very happy to see the lotus flower because he has been working on gold. He loves gold. While he was looking at the gold, this lotus flower, focusing his mind on it, sure enough, in a very short time, every petal of the lotus flower slowly withered away and fell down. The leaves withered and fell down. The stalk withered and fell down. Then he realized, this is impermanent. That aroused his wisdom and he had an enlightenment. At that time, Buddha appeared before him and said, Kum upamam kayamam viditva nagarupamam chittamidan thapetva yode damaram panyayudena jitancharakre anivesanyam siya. Look at the body like a clay pot. It is brittle, anytime it can break. Nagarupamam chittamidam tapetva. Look at the mind like a city. When you think of a city, so many activities are going on. The mind is like that. Jitanjara Yode Tamaram Panyayudhena, with mind, with wisdom weapon, defeat the Mara. Defeat the Mara. Who is this Mara? Mara is greed. Mara is greed. There are 10 Mara enemies of Mara. I have no time to explain them now. So one of them is desire, greed. Buddha said, fight this Mara with wisdom weapon. And after fighting with Mara with wisdom weapon, don't stay there. Jitanjara ke anivesano, once you have won the battle, don't hold on to this. Normally when you fight to capture certain area, then you settle a garrison there, the army, to protect it, so that it will not be recaptured by the enemies. Buddha said, don't do that. Don't nivesana means house. Don't make it a house to stay there. If you stay there again, you have not won the battle. You have lost the battle. That means once you let it go, let it go. Don't go after that. Anyway, that was the advice Buddha gave because of these monks' attachment to the body by practicing mindfulness of impurities of the body. There is another story, two stories of monks committing suicide. One story is in Vinaya Pitaka, other is in Samyutta Nikaya, that Buddha one day gave instructions on practicing mindfulness of impurities of the body, Patikula Mansikara, 32 parts of the body. And he said, you practice this, it gave the advantage of this practice. And then Buddha himself went for 2 weeks retreat by him to stay alone by himself. During his absence, these monks who are practicing this mindfulness of impurities of the body, since they had not attained enlightenment, one monk felt so repulsive, he began to hate the body. He felt as if a very young woman having a dead snake around her neck or dead carcass on her lap. Like this he felt about his own body. And he said, I don't want to live with this ugly body, dirty body, full of impurities. He went to another novice called Miguel Nandaka and asked him, could you do me a favor? Take my razor and cut my throat. Then you can get my arms, ball and ropes and sell it and make some money. So the fellow cut his head, cut his neck and killed him. And then he went from kuti to kuti asking other monks, you like to attain enlightenment very quickly, I can do that for you. So he went off cutting off their heads. In some cases, they cut each other. So there were homicide and suicide because they misunderstood the practice. When Buddha returned from his retreat, he found many monks missing. He asked Venerable Ananda, what happened? Venerable Ananda told Buddha what happened. Then Buddha immediately asked Ananda to call a meeting of remaining monks. At that meeting, Buddha introduced mindfulness of breathing. And therefore, practicing meditation on impurities of the body has to be done very mindfully. How can we do it mindfully? Buddha mentioned the method, but people who don't understand the method practice incorrectly and fell into extremes. The right method is head hair, starting with head hair, body hair, nail, teeth, skin, these 5. Head hair is impermanent, unsatisfactory, and selfless. This is not mine, this is not I am, this is not myself. Neta mama, nesoham asmi, nemesoham atta. Kesa aniccan, dukkham, viparinam dhammam, khaya dhammam, vaya dhammam, viraga dhammam, nirodha dhammam, sankatam, patisampannam, neta mama, nesoham asmi, nemesoham atta. Like that. The hair is impermanent, unsatisfactory, altering, ceasing, supposed to caused by causes and conditions, patisamppanna, and therefore this is not mine, this is not myself, this is not I am, this I am not. Neta mama nesohamasta nesoham. Like that, we have to practice mindfulness on the body with mindfulness. If we practice mindfulness of the body unmindfully, incorrectly, partially, with emotions, without any emotional reactions, we have to look at each and every part of the body, internally as well as externally. Only then can we get the best benefit, highest benefit of this practice. Unattractiveness of the body. Patikula Manasikara is one of the best meditation systems if we do it correctly, mindfully. So, a 5th part of the mindfulness of the body is mindfulness of elements. Earth, water, air, fire, elements. Buddha has given a very beautiful simile to illustrate that. We can do this, when we practice meditation. If we select any part of the body to practice it, we can do it exactly as the Buddha mentioned, without any doubt. And therefore we have to be very careful, and we have to learn the theory. Theory, practice and results. Satya, Kitcha, Kata. These 3 things we have to do. First we must know the theory, put the theory into practice, and then you see the results. Without knowing the theory, you may simply pick things from here and there and can have little champo mixed with a salad, like fruit salad. It doesn't going to make any sense. You get confused. Therefore, I always advise people to go to the theory. Theory is the sutras. Very clearly Buddha has stated everything laid down step by step. Adi kalyana, madhya kalyana, parivosana kalyana, sattang sabhyanjanam kevala paripurnam, like that. Beginning is excellent, middle is excellent, end is excellent, full of meaning, full of benefits and so on. So, fifth part is mindfulness of the four elements: earth, air, water, fire. What is the earth element? I mentioned out of these 32, 20 earth element. What is the element? Earth element you cannot see. Although we talk about earth element, this whole thing is built on earth element. But we cannot see. But we can feel the earth element as hardness, solidity is the characteristic of earth element. Only through the characteristics of earth element we can know earth element. Through the characteristics of water elements we know water elements. What is the characteristic of water element? It has a molecule that can bind together. Binding factor in water element, binding factor. Like when you have sand and cement, they don't bind. You have to put water. Then only it binds. Then fire element has we feel the heat. It has a radiation. We can feel the heat. It helps to digest our food. It makes us grow. It makes us old. These are the characteristics of heat elements. Then air elements. We know the air elements. Air going upward, downward, inhaling, exhaling, intestinal air, the air in the movement in our various parts of the body. Sometimes we call arthritis and so forth, movement inside. And there is a space element. The space element is the space in which everything is settled. We have nostrils and ear holes and so forth. Various holes are there in the body. In those holes there are space. Through these things, through this in the space, other things are moving. Now, how to use them? Buddha said, when they are separate, existing separately, they exist as elements. When they put together, there is a being. The example Buddha has given is, suppose there is a cow and somebody cut the cow into 4 parts and starts selling. When he leads the cow, he says this is a cow. When he cut her up into pieces and sell, he doesn't sell cow. What does he sell? He sells beef. Cow turns into beef when you separate. When you put together, it's a cow. Sometimes if people don't know this proper, sometimes they don't know the language, they might use the wrong words. I remember once I was in Sweden, some high school children came to pick me up, and on the way they began to talk in the car. So one of them asked me, "Do you eat pigs?" Because he was from a Muslim country. I said, "No, I don't eat pigs." He wanted to ask me whether I eat pork. The person did not know the difference between pork and pig. So, cow and beef are like that. So Buddha said, when you sell the beef, you don't sell cow. you sell the beef. Similarly, when these elements are separate, we call them elements. When they put together, there's a being. So, how to meditate on them? Earth element is earth element. This is impermanent, unsatisfactory, selfless. This is not me. This is not I am. This I am not this. This is not myself. This is the way to use the elements as part of our meditation. So friends, my time is up. I think there's one last part to mention in this. That is the body. 9 stages of stages that body goes through after death. That's called Navasivatika. 9 stages of dead body. Whatever we think about us, we all end up like that. Body is the way how it gradually decomposes and reduce into dust and disappear. Body. But it doesn't mean that there's nothing else in the body. So we are talking about meditation on the body, but that is how the body ends up, like, turning into dust. And then we have to think, in this practice we have to do some imagination. As if, Buddha says, Seyata vipasya sarirang sivatika achanditam, ekamatam adhyamatam, and so forth. Just as if you see a body 1, 2, 3 days dead and put in a charnel ground. So we have to think, this body also is of the same nature. It is not gone beyond that. That means when this body leaves its consciousness, karma, the ignorance and so forth, when these things are with this left the body, this body reduced to like that. It is not different from that body. And therefore, this body doesn't belong to me. I am not this. This is not myself. Neta mama neso hamasin mesota. This is not mine. I am not this. This is not myself. And this is the theme that we have to repeat all the time in every part of this mindfulness of the body. Mindfulness of feeling also like that. Mindfulness of the mind and mindfulness of mind objects. In each of them, at the end Buddha said, Samudaya Dhammanupassīva kāyasmi vesti. Why Dhammanupassīva kāyasmi vesti? Samudaya Dhammanupassīva. Seeing the body rising, falling, and rising, falling. Feeling, perception, and so forth. So friends, this is all I can do for today as my little talk on mindfulness, enlightenment factor. It is not completely exhausted, but this is all time that permits me to speak. Thank you very much for your patient listening. I hope you all learn sutras very carefully and try to understand each and every word very clearly and put that into practice. Theory, practice and realization. You certainly will gain a great benefit. Thank you.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.